there, it's Paula. So my husband and I were talking the other day, and I've been making jewelry for probably about 30 years, on and off, not the whole time. But we've done videos showing different things, different techniques, and really we wanted to bring it back to the basics for somebody who is just starting jewelry making, has no idea what the tools are called or what the findings are called. Findings is actually a word for all the little pieces that you find, the wires, the head pins, which we'll get into. But so we're really just starting back to the basics. There are 3 tools that I keep near me at all times when I'm making jewelry. One is the long nose plier. So it doesn't have any serrated edges inside, it's just smooth. That is the long nose plier. The other is the round nose pliers. So you can see those are rounded and they come to a nice little thin point at the top. The third thing that I keep with me all the time, I call them snippers. The technical name for them is actually flesh cutters. So you can see they're a little pointed. They can get right in with really fine detail and snip. But today we're going to start actually with the long nose pliers, and I'm going to show you basically what these are used for. So the long nose pliers are basically used, so if you have an earring wire or an earring hook, they're called both. So you would use the long nose pliers like to open this, like that. And when you open it, you always want to open it to the side. You don't want to open it like this because you're compromising the wire at that point, and it's hard to get it back into a nice shape. But that's what the long nose pliers are for, is to basically, like, if you're putting together, let's say, one of these, which is an O-ring, you will need 2 to open. So that's basically like what these do. They open and close rings. They're literally the best friend of anybody that does wire wrapping, because I'm going to show you another thing that they do. That's really cool. So when you use these, and I'm going to show you a lot of different fun shortcuts to do, but this will bend wire. So you use these just to, like, if you want to go to like an angle, these will bend wire. So these are really great. You'll see me use these in probably all my videos. I'll be showing you some different uses for them as we go along, but just to let you know, those are just beginning. These are long nose pliers. We're going to now start with tool number 2, and these are our round nose pliers. So you can see they're round on both sides. Now there are other types of round nose pliers. For example, this is another type of round nose pliers. This is for people who want to make really like big circles. I don't hardly ever use these. I mean, you can if you're wanting to make, like, again, a really big circle, you can use these, but today I'm going to show you how to use these. And basically, with a round nose plier, you can do what it says. You can make things round. So, like, you can start gripping the wire, and you can turn it, turn it, turn it. See, it makes a little round, little flush. Now, when I also use these for is, so when I'm making earrings or things like that, so I'll take this and I'll make an angle, just like an L, like that. And then if you stick the round nose pliers right in that little area and you bring this around, and then you pull it out and stick it back in at the same part and pull it around like that, and then twist it. So that's how I make a hook that's sealed. And I'll show you more of these as the videos go along, because this is how I usually make my earrings. I usually wrap it 3 different times, and that just means that this isn't going to open. Like, it's not going to come open if it's pulled or whatever. So again, we used the long nose pliers and then the round nose pliers. And I will be showing you more things you can do in each video that we make with these items. All right, guys, time to introduce the snippers, or flush cutters as they're called. So if you're looking to buy these, you probably look up flush cutters. There are 2 different types of wire cutters that we use. One is called, this is a flush cutter. This is called a side cutter. So you see the difference. This is a flush cutter. This is a side cutter, or wire cutters. People typically call these. This is for much more detailed clipping. Like if you just want to cut a wire, like if you just are looking to cut wire, that'll cut wire. No problem. These are side cutters. But for what I do, it's a little bit more intricate. So I use the flush cutters. So as you see, it will also cut wire. And I'm going to show you a cool little technique using 2 of my other tools that I've already introduced. So if you take your long nose pliers, and we're going to bend this to an L like this. And then you take your round nose pliers, stick it in there, push this around like that. Then you're going to pull these out, put it back in on the other side. And then you can wrap it around and it'll look like this. And then what I do to make my earrings is I wrap this little piece around 3 times. Now, with a detail like this, the side cutters aren't really going to do a great job. You can't get that close. But this is where the flush cutters come in, because they will get right up on there. And then you can take your long nose pliers and just tuck that little wire in that's kind of poking out. So you end up having what looks like that. These are how I make all my earrings. When I'm connecting something, I always do this, because you literally could do just this. Like you can do just this and use that to make earrings. Like you could do that. But the problem is, if anything pulls on it, it's going to open. And then your charm or your whatever you have on there is going to possibly pop off. So this is just a much more secure way to do it. This will not open. And it gives a kind of pretty little wire wrap look. So this is the way that I do that. And this can do really fine detail. You know, it can get really in kind of hard to reach places. And it's very good at getting, like, especially if you're using like what I call tiger's tail. It's also called 7-strand. It's just basically wire that's been covered in like a plastic. But this is really good when you're making bracelets or making anything with this, because you can get in there and just literally like snip it, and it's going to be really like exact. Where the wire cutters, you know, you can clip it, but it's not going to be, you're not going to be able to get into small places with it. You can still clip it, but it's going to have to be like a big clip. And then even then, these are not designed to cut. So see, on the 3rd time it cut, but it's not designed to cut really well. So again, so I've already showed you long nose, round nose, and flush cutters. These are the 3 tools that I use all the time. I will show you some other tools that you can purchase if you're wanting to do different things, but these are the 3 that I literally have on hand at all times. These are the 3 that that I use almost with everything I make. So again, we've got round nose pliers, long nose pliers, flush cutters, or as I call them in a lot of my videos, snippers.